Coming up, city volunteers hand out gas stoves to the flood survivors in Manado of North Sulawesi. We see how city's 20 years of charity work in northern Thailand has helped countless needy residents. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. We kick off today's program in Indonesia's North Sulawesi. Following the flooding in mid-January, city volunteers launched cash for work programs, aid distributions, and several free clinics in the hard-hit Manado. Recently, volunteers returned to the city once again to distribute 3,000 sets of gas stoves to flood survivors.
2, 1.
Happily walking into her shop with city's gas stove is flood survivor Siame Robut, whose restaurant has been out of business since mid-January. Today, she is ready to resume business.
The roof of my restaurant was swept away and I lost all my kitchenware. I have been out of business for more than a month because I didn't have the means to rebuild. Thankfully, with this gas stove, I will be able to resume business.
The watermarks left on the wall remind Siame Robut of the devastation caused by the flood. With a new gas stove and gas to run it, Siame Robut.
The city volunteers came all the way from Jakarta to deliver relief items and emotional support. I'm truly touched by their selfless dedication. I feel sad knowing that the volunteers will be leaving Manado.
In mid-January, North Sulawesi's Manado city was hit by flash floods. Although a month has passed, many areas of the city remain covered in mud and debris. To help, city volunteers arrived with 3,000 gas stoves and kitchenware.
I'm very happy to receive this stove and gas from the Tzu Chi Foundation. It means that we don't have to purchase them ourselves. The flood took away everything, so we've been cooking with the wood stove. The gas stove is much better than our wood stove.
I'll be using this gas stove to cook food and drinking water for students of the Quran recitation class. Tzu Chi's charity work is truly amazing. Although we are from different faiths, we can still help and care for each other.
To further cheer up the flood survivors, other than a sign language performance, volunteers also showed them posters made by students of the Tzu Chi school in Jakarta, which are filled with words of blessings.
This year, March 6 is Jingzhi, the third of the 24 solar terms of the Chinese calendar. The arrival of Jingzhi indicates rising temperatures and the coming of rainfall. To this day, farmers still use the weather around Jingzhi as an indicator of future rainfall and harvest prospects. However, regardless of the weather patterns they face, in the days following Jingzhi, farmers prepare for the heavy work ahead.
As the first thunder of the year is heard and the rainy season begins, all of the earth's creatures come to life, awakening from their hibernation. A moth larva comes out to enjoy the sun, while butterflies fly around the garden, welcoming in the spring. Jingzhi, the third of the 24 solar terms, signals the beginning of a gradual rise in temperature and variable weather patterns.
Every year during this period, warm and humid air will move northwards, leading to dramatic heat convection. This indicates a seasonal transition. Normally, we will experience more afternoon thunder showers after Jingzhi.
A famous Tang poem goes, "Light rain revives the earth, Jingzhi begins as thunder rolls, farmers shall raise no more, instead starting plow and sow." Its meaning, following Jingzhi, farmers will find themselves very busy.
When the rain comes, we need to clean out the irrigation ditches.
Jingzhi normally falls on the 5th or 6th day of March, depending on the year, and following which, temperatures will start rising. Traditionally, it is said that if thunder is heard before Jingzhi, it will rain 49 days non-stop. To this day, farmers use the weather around Jingzhi as an indicator for future rainfall and harvest prospects.
惊蛰前如果一旦打雷的时候，就代表这个时候呢。
If thunder happens before the arrival of Jingzhe, it means a high condensation of atmospheric vapor in the south of the island, signaling a higher amount of precipitation, so farmers are likely to enjoy a good harvest. On the other hand, if thunder occurs later than Jingzhe, there is a higher chance of droughts for the year.
During spring, when nature comes live, members of the public take a chance to plant saplings.
因为3月份是
In
全
March,
省雨
normally
水
the
都很
precipitation is abundant across the island, so we pick this time to plant new saplings. Scientifically speaking, trees can help trap carbon dioxide in the air, thus reducing greenhouse gases. This is the long-term effect we want to achieve.
In the face of global warming and climate change, planting trees to safeguard our environment has become a global movement.
During Jingzhe, the third of the 24 solar terms, people in different regions of China and Taiwan have different ways to mark the day. In our next report, let's take a look at the various traditional practices and customs during the solar term. Lei Gong, may you bless us with a prosperous year free of natural disasters.
Lei Gong, or the god of thunder, is the guardian of Jingzhe, the third of the 24 solar terms of the Chinese calendar. Located in Zhongxi district of Tainan City, the Wind God Temple houses a statue of Lei Gong, who is widely worshipped by the general public.
Lei Gong symbolizes law enforcement in heaven. He punishes evil people or those who waste food.
In traditional Chinese customs, the figure of the maternal uncle is as important as the status of Lei Gong in heaven. It highlights the role of the maternal uncle in family, as well as people's reverence to the deity. After Jingzhe, bugs and insects become more active, and housewives will put quilts and clothing in the sun. They will also use incense to smoke out any pests found in the house.
When Jingzhe arrives, bugs start to come out, so I will put the bed quilts under the sun. Normally, cotton quilts need to be beaten. If the quilt is made of feathers, you can just put it in the sun.
Formerly, the act of beating quilts symbolized sending away bad luck, and later became a ritual in its own right, still popular in Hong Kong and Guangdong. The worship of the white tiger is also another traditional practice of Jingzhe.
The white tiger is known as the god of quarrels. Traditionally, people will make a paper tiger and feed it in order to have it keep its mouth shut. This teaches people to avoid quarrels with others.
People in different regions of Taiwan and China have different customs to celebrate Jingzhe. In Shanxi, locals eat peaches, while in Guangxi and Taiwan's Meinong, local residents eat parched beans, with its meaning of keeping pests away.
Every year at Jingzhe, we normally dry beans in the sun for later use.
The Flower Gods Festival, originating in the Ming Dynasty, is another way to mark Jingzhe. People of Taiwan and China celebrate it by enjoying the flowers of the spring as they welcome in the new year and wish for a year of prosperity and harmony.
As we are faced with the threats of climate change, what are the alternative forms of renewable energy available that will help mitigate the impact of global warming? In today's report, we take a look at how Taiwan is transforming its abundant marine resources into sustainable energy and just how much energy can be found in Taiwan's oceans. Let's find out in our next report. As an island nation, Taiwan is surrounded by the oceans on all sides, and here is where an abundance of energy can be found.
Ocean currents, waves, and even tides are all a form of renewable marine energy.
我们海洋能源的一方。整个来开发。
Our oceans have the potential to provide us with 9 to 12 gigawatts of sustainable renewable energy. If marine energy technology development is successful, it will represent 25% of total electricity production.
If successful, marine energy can meet a quarter of Taiwan's electricity demands. For a country that imports close to 99% of its energy from foreign countries, this development is nothing short of a breakthrough.
以目前来
In
看
its current form, renewable wave energy has the potential to provide 3 to 4 gigawatts of power. The colloidal current is expected to provide 3 to 4 gigawatts, and counties in eastern Taiwan have the potential to generate 3 to 4 gigawatts of geothermal energy.
Taiwan's marine energy potentials include wave energy, tidal energy, geothermal energy and offshore wind energy. For more than a decade, the National Taiwan Ocean University research team has committed themselves to the harnessing of ocean energy. And recently, they have their eyes set on the Kuroshio current.
它是终年稳定。
As the flow of colloidal current is consistent all year round, it makes it a baseload potential. In some areas, the current moves at a speed of 1.45 meters per second.
以上。
Tidal stream generators draw energy from currents in the same way as wind turbines. The rotors are driven by the current, which drives generators that in turn produce electricity.
海水的密度是空气。
Water is about 800 times the density of air, which means in a flow of 1 meter per second, tidal turbines can generate more electricity compared to wind turbines of the same size.
For instance, Penghu has an average wind speed of 9 meters per second, but as the density of water is greater than the density of air, water speeds of 1 meter per second can generate the same power for the same size turbine system.
流这样过
The
来，
currents drive the rotors, and there is also an accelerator here that decreases the torque, so these tidal turbine rotors can be much smaller in size.
The NTOU research team have developed a turbine prototype that can be lowered beneath the surface of the water and can continue to generate electricity in the event of a typhoon.
本来是这样。
It was like this, and we modify it. This one can withstand more impact, and that one not so much. So the torque exerted on these turbine blades will make them rotate in the same direction as the current, and this will maximize power generation efficiency.
事实上，我们面临的
Although we encountered some challenges during the development of the generator, we were able to solve many problems the more we worked on it.
Compared to other countries, Taiwan is characterized by irregular weather conditions and prone to earthquakes. Hence, the development of marine energy is a challenge as much as it is an opportunity.
希望是本年度能够把
We hope to complete the development of a 200 kilowatts geothermal turbine this year. With regards to wave power, using the original prototype, we developed a 20 kilowatt second generation wave power generator that will be completed this year.
Taiwan's industries, government bodies, and academic institutions are actively seeking ways to harness marine energy today. They hope that their efforts will take Taiwan one step further as we stand at the brink of a new era in renewable energy. Since Citi first carried out charity work in northern Thailand in 1995, volunteers have helped change the lives of countless needy residents along the way. At the Huai Hoc Citi village, the son of the former village head Ai Sun Kang, who is now a third-year university student, has joined Citi to reciprocate the love he once received. It's hard to imagine that this magnificent and harmonious scenery was once barren and deserted. 20 years ago, Citi turned this refugee village of thatched cottages into houses built with bricks and walls. Today, the Huai Hoc Citi village is home to many Chinese refugee descendants.
My son and I were chatting yesterday, and he said to me that if it weren't for Citi, we'd be where we are today. We don't know how our lives would have turned out.
The son of the former village head, having grown up with Tzu Chi volunteers by his side, is now a third-year student at the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce. Wearing a Tzu Chi uniform, Ai Sun Kang is proud to be a member of this big family.
เพราะว่ารู้สึกว่าเหมือนโดนถ่ายวิญญาณของตัวเองเข้าสู่
Having always been on the receiving end, we will easily take it for granted. Now that our lives have improved, I'm really content and I want to share this love with those in greater need.
พวกผมแล้วก็คนในชุมชนเนี่ย
Tzu Chi seeds of love have blossomed inside Ai Sun Kang's heart, and he will no doubt pay the love forward in the days ahead. As this year marks Tzu Chi's 20th year of charity work in northern Thailand, we look back on how the Buddhist NGO first took Chinese refugees under its wing in 1994, before later carrying out a series of poverty alleviation programs in the region. Here's more. The 1990 movie of A Home Too Far depicts the life stories of a group of soldiers and their families who retreated to Thailand following the Chinese Civil War in 1949. With no citizenship or legal rights to work, the lives of these so-called orphans of Asia were more than difficult. In 1994, Taiwan's Overseas Community Affairs Council ended its financial subsidies to the soldiers and their families. However, a member of the council then, Zhang Shaoyan, visited Master Zhen Yan to seek help in continuing to aid the area and its residents.
I had not said much before the master quickly agreed to help. I was deeply moved that she didn't even hesitate or have a second thought. She just said, this is something that needs to be done.
In April of the same year, the vice president of the Tzu Chi Foundation, Wang Duanzhen, along with Dharma masters from the Jingsi abode, visited villages in northern Thailand for a field assessment. There, they found villagers living with no access to fresh water or electricity. The following year, a 3-year poverty alleviation program was launched, in which Tzu Chi built permanent homes with running water and electricity for 130 families in the 4 poorest villages of Hue Hoik, Bangala, Masalak and Changlong in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai provinces. At the same time these brick homes were being constructed, Tzu Chi invited farming experts to teach villagers how to grow cash crops such as tea and fruit. Tzu Chi volunteers also regularly visited the war veterans in Pantan and Bam Mai No Bra nursing homes.
I can be your son. I hope the next time I come, I will get to help you bath.
At the Wasekyo Monastery in Chiang Lai, Tzu Chi volunteers came across Somsak, a burn victim, before arranging for him to receive surgeries in Bangkok. It was a life-changing moment for the boy. Even today, Tzu Chi's winter aid distributions are held annually in northern Thailand to help impoverished families. Tzu Chi's relief efforts in Thailand over the past 2 decades have not only left a trail of love and warmth, but also brought hope to the lives of many needy residents. Moving to Taiwan in Taipei on March 5th, under the leadership of DaAi TV CEO Tang Jianming, staff members of the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center gathered at the Tzu Chi Guandu grounds to watch Master Zhen Yan's Wisdom at Dawn broadcast, hoping to absorb more Dharma and wisdom.
Sitting upright listening to Master Zhen Yan's teachings are staff members of the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center. Some use tablets to take notes of what is being said, while others write down the Master's wisdom. It's not easy waking up at the crack of dawn, yet staff members under the leadership of DaAi TV CEO Tang Jianming make a concerted effort to rise early to watch Master Zheng Yan's Wisdom at Dawn broadcast at the Ciji Guandu grounds in Taipei.
It's a profound feeling having everyone here to take in the Master's Dharma. I initially wondered if attendance on the second day would be much less than the first, but it turns out just as many people showed up on the second day.
Our programs need to contain elements of spirituality. If our hearts are not at peace, then the programs we produce won't be able to reflect Dharma.
In order to purify hearts and minds through the television medium, media workers need to be able to translate the wisdom and dharma of Master Zheng Yan in their work. Hence, despite a busy workday ahead, staff members make an effort to wake up early and join this wisdom practice, all in the hopes that they may continue to carry the stream of purity throughout the world.
Also taking part in watching Master Zheng Yan's Wisdom at Dawn broadcast each morning is 28-year-old Li Yipeng, who works at Ciji Taizong Chapter's Religious Affairs Department. Taking the Master's words to heart, Li has changed for the better ever since taking part in the program.
It's barely 5 in the morning, yet Li Yipeng is already at the Ciji Jingsi Hall in Taichung, ready to start his day. Li's fuel for the day comes from watching Master Zheng Yan's Wisdom at Dawn broadcast.
It gives me a chance to be in the Master's company. Although she is in Hualien and I'm in Taichung, but when the Master is speaking, it's like she is speaking directly to me.
It's not easy for most young people to get up this early. Nonetheless, Li does it for the benefit of increasing his own wisdom. But when he first started watching as a Ciqing, he had trouble understanding the Master's Taiwanese.
Sometimes I won't be able to understand some of it when the Master speaks in Taiwanese. Under those circumstances, it's only through time that one can fully understand what the Master meant.
Over the years, Li has taken the Dharma to heart and overcome his bad temper as a result.
I know that my character is full of greed, anger, delusion, arrogance, and doubt. I know I need to work on my anger. Many times, I would just take care of things on my own and not care about what effect it might have on others. I won't care about other people's feelings.
Now working in Ciji's Religious Affairs Department in Taichung, Li assists with coordinating Ciji volunteers.
He works well with the volunteers. His appearance and build contrasts with his gentle and flexible ways.
Where there's a will, there is a way. Li knows he still has much to improve on. Thus, while walking on the Bodhisattva path, he will continue to diligently watch the morning broadcast and find wisdom.
We're going to Canada at the end of our show. Besides placing Jingsi African volumes in hotels, Vancouver Ciji volunteers visited local hospitals to place the Master's words of wisdom in a waiting area outside the clinic rooms in hopes of soothing all patients' anxious hearts. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.